Did you know that the T in often actually used to be silent? It's more common to pronounce it nowadays, but technically this is an incorrect spelling pronunciation. It's kind of complicated though, let me explain. So way back in the day in like Middle English, the T actually was pronounced. So why am I saying it's silent? Well, that's because back in the day, the T was pronounced in other words that we don't pronounce it in today. Between Middle English and early modern English, there was a sound change in which most people stopped pronouncing the T in often, soften, and listen. But before that, people would actually say like listen instead of listen. Actually, I think it was technically listenin'. But anyway, that T was there and it got regularly dropped in these words. So like with a lot of words, English spelling doesn't really care when we stop pronouncing some sounds. So despite the fact that nobody pronounced it, they actually kept the T in spelling. But then in the 1800s, people started reading the word with the T again because it seemed like the correct thing to do. So that's why they call it a spelling pronunciation, because if people hadn't continued to write it with the silent T, it wouldn't have gotten revived. But it didn't get revived in listen or glisten or soften, at least for the most part. Maybe some people say soften influenced by often, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say like fabric softener. It's just softener. Spelling pronunciations are interesting because they show that writing isn't just a way of recording language. It also can affect the language. Another funny example is the fact that the word humble actually comes from a word that didn't pronounce that H, so it technically should be umble. But again, because the H was pronounced in spelling, it got revived.